So I just want to riff a little bit on an experience I had over the weekend that showed to me the stark contrast between Trump supporters and Democrats. And I say Trump supporters instead of Republicans or conservatives because Trump supporters are like a weird mishmash. Just because you're a Trump supporter doesn't mean you're a conservative or even a Republican. And, just because you're a conservative or Republican doesn't necessarily mean that you are a Trump supporter. So we're going to say Trump supporters versus today's typical kind of leftist Democrat that are maybe a little bit more progressive than they used to be, but are definitely voting for Joe Biden. And so this weekend, my husband and I, we were supposed to go to the Trump rally. The Trump rally was going to be in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. That's less than an hour drive from where we live. So we booked a hotel room for the night, and we were all excited to go to Portsmouth and have a little day at the Trump rally, and then maybe a couple drinks afterwards, and have a little date night, whatever. And then, of course, the Trump rally gets canceled the day before when we could no longer cancel our hotel reservation. And so we thought, you know what, might as well make the best of it. And we planned to head out to Portsmouth anyway. Now, as it turns out, the Trump rally was canceled or postponed rather. I shouldn't say canceled, I should say postponed because there was supposed to be a really big storm coming through. And for all you conspiracy theorists, yes, there was actually supposed to be a storm. It just didn't end up having the timing they thought it would, but there was actually a legit storm that would have been coming through. It was supposed to come through in the morning, which would basically have drenched everyone that was out there waiting in line, and I'm sure it would have created very dangerous situations for all those people who lined up early. So it was probably a better idea to cancel it or postpone it, because allegedly they're going to be back. But it actually ended up being a really beautiful day, and what my husband and I decided to do was to go to Hampton Beach for the day and get a couple of lobsters and then head over to Portsmouth and poke around and go somewhere for dinner and have some drinks. Just, a general kind of fun day. So Hampton Beach is a very popular beach in New Hampshire, and it is not an upper crust crowd that goes to Hampton Beach. I gotta tell you, so we got there, the beach is packed, people are out walking around, the state has actually closed down kind of the main strip right outside of the beach because they wanted to have extra room for people to socially distance, and so it was really great. There were a lot of people there, but you could definitely socially distance, and one of the things I liked about it the most was that you didn't have to wear a mask. There were no masks. No one was wearing a mask, except for the occasional Karen. One of the very first people we saw wearing masks was obviously, this bougie Karen that was like, I can't believe no one's wearing masks, and oh my god, look over there, there's a mask required sign. No one was wearing masks. Literally, no one was wearing masks. Not even police were wearing masks, not even security people were wearing masks, and no one was wearing a mask. And it was really nice, and, we walked around, we got some good food, and just kind of hung out and enjoyed the day. And I gotta tell you, the people there, these are more like blue-collar workers. There was tons of diversity, people in all different races were represented. I know it's New Hampshire, you think we're all white, but no, there were actually a variety of races represented. And it was just everyone was just having just a really nice time. And I said to Victor, I was like, thank God I got out from behind the computer for a day because it was so relaxing. And this was just a fun-loving crowd, and people are just hanging out and enjoying each other's company. And some of the stores required masks, and we didn't go in those stores, but a lot didn't. And so we had a really great day. And I was feeling so relaxed. I was like, oh my God, I don't have to be around uppity SJWs or people on the internet who are all stressed out and anxious and all this stuff. So we enjoyed our time at Hampton Beach with the blue collar, I'm going to call that the Trump supporter crowd. I think I turned to Victor at one point and I said 90% of the people here are voting for Trump. He was like, oh yeah, there's no question about this was not a Biden supporter type of crowd. But you know what? It's one of the things I really enjoy about the Trump crowd. It's people are so much more fun. People have senses of humor. They can joke. They can relax. They aren't anxiety ridden all the dang time. That was not true when we got to Portsmouth. Now, Portsmouth it's not that far away from Hampton Beach. It's 10, 11 miles away. It's a very quick trip. Portsmouth is this old port city that has been very gentrified. It is uber gentrified. And so you got all the bougie women that live in Portsmouth. Now, it was funny because I tweeted out a video while I was at Hampton Beach, and I was so excited. I was like, guys, no one's wearing masks. And so many of you on Twitter responded, well, of course no one's wearing masks, Carlin. Why would you wear a mask while you were outside? Well, no one in Portsmouth got the memo. Because we were like walking around this little city, just like poking around trying to find like a place to have a drink or to go do unnecessary shopping or things like that. Everyone walking up and down the street is wearing a mask, and you can tell like everyone that was wearing a mask, these are all bougie upper crust women, almost all women. You know, if there was a man wearing a mask, usually you know what he's doing. He's like tagging behind the woman, so you know she made him wear it. And it was just the atmosphere there. Listen, I'm like very sensitive to emotions and that sort of thing. And I had anxiety walking around the street there. We just had this wonderful time on the beach. I had a couple lobsters. It was awesome. And then you go to Portsmouth and it's like everyone's got a giant stick up there, you know where, and of course they're all wearing masks, and all the stores are mean. And by the way, I don't define mean as requiring a mask. Like, you know, most of the time those stores, they like the owners make them do it or whatever. They have no control over it. I get it. But even I'll tell you, we tried to go get drinks at this one restaurant I had been to before, and I knew it was a great place, Row 34 in Portsmouth, and I knew I thought it was a good place. And this is what I mean when I say they're mean. They're unnecessarily mean. So we walked in the door. I'm literally reaching for my mask because here's the thing. You guys hear me complain about masks a lot. And the thing of it is that when the state issues a mandate to say you have to wear masks in these vicinities, you know, there's nothing the businesses can do about it at that point. And usually I will not shop in stores that require me to wear a mask, A, because that's usually not a state mandate, B, because I really just don't want to wear a mask for more than a couple of minutes. But if we're just talking about me putting on a mask to walk into my gym and take it off, or me putting on a mask to walk into a restaurant and be seated and immediately take it off, I'm cool with that, man. Like, it's like less than a minute, whatever, it's not a big deal. So I was actually reaching for my mask as we walked into this restaurant, and we were immediately accosted by a Karen. Like, the hostess was such a raging Karen. And I mean, like, she came and she's like, what do you do? What do you do? Like, we're like, oh, we just want to get a table, like, relax. She's like, I can't see you until you have it. Like, she was, like, flipping out. I'm like, lady, like, relax. And she just kept, like, on us like we were like lepers or something because we hadn't had our masks on immediately. And it was just like, I turned to Victor, and Victor's like even looking perturbed, and Victor doesn't, you know, get like frazzled. I don't think I really get frazzled, but that stuff doesn't bother Victor as much as it bothers me. And I turned to him, I was like, what the hell? And I turned back to Lady, I'm like, you know what, never mind, we're cool, we're gonna leave, you're not getting any of our money. And that's what I mean when I say businesses are mean. It's like unnecessary. It's like they forget, the masks have made them forget that customers are still customers, and you don't have to treat them badly. All they had to do was say, oh, can you please put on a mask? And I was already in the process of doing it anyway, and it would have been fine, and they would have gotten our bill for the night or whatever. But such as it was, we left. We walked up the street to the Portsmouth Brewery, which was a much better experience. We just put on our masks. Everyone was perfectly cordial. Went to our table, had some food, had a lot of beer at the Portsmouth Brewery. It's very, very good beer. 2 thumbs up to the Portsmouth Brewery for both beer and not being douches. But I tell you this story because it really made me think about the divide we have in this country, and frankly about how the Democrats have become this party of like these bougie, entitled white liberals that just feel like they can tell everyone else what to do. And so I did some Googling just the other day, and I found all of these articles. I mean, this has been a trend for a while. I guess I didn't realize this. Like, this is from Forbes back in 2014. How did the Democrats become the party of the rich? This is from Vox. This is from Vox in 2016. Democrats are replacing Republicans as the preferred party of the very wealthy. This is from Reason.com in 2018. The Democrats are now the party of the rich. This is from The Hill, if my computer wants to turn it. I'm getting a little spinny wheel of death right now. The spinny wheel of death you're gonna come through, computer. So I need to get a new computer is what really needs to happen. You guys, while we're waiting for the spinning reel of death, if you want to support my channel, there are lots of ways you can do that. You can subscribe, you can hit the thumbs up, you can turn on those notifications. Another thing you can do is to support me through donations, through PayPal, Subscribestar. You can join my locals, become a monthly member, things like that. All of those things which will allow me to buy a new computer so I don't get the damn spinny wheel of death. There we go. Thank you, Spinny Wheel of Death. Midterm show. Dems, the party of the elite, not the middle class. This was back in 2018, right after the election. And I just want to scroll down here to this one little passage. The reality is that the Democratic Party has become the party of the rich, including rich suburbs, and the poor, and the GOP party, the party of forgotten and increasingly disempowered middle class. And want proof? At the conclusion of the election, again, this is in 2018, Democrats control all 20 of the wealthiest congressional districts in the country. They won the top 10 by an average vote of 65 to 34%. And to be honest, this is exactly what I saw when I was in Hampton Beach. This was definitely the party of the middle class, maybe even the disempowered middle class. I mean, these were people that just wanted to have a good time, have a beer on the weekends. I mean, they were obviously, again, obviously not upper crust people. And I don't say that with any judgment. I say that those are the people I want to hang out with. Those are the people I want to have a beer with, not these snooty women that are walking around Portsmouth with their Louis Vuittons. And I say that being someone that has one of those stupid purses, like their Louis Vuittons and their fancy sunglasses and their designer masks. How did it get to be this way? I just don't understand it. And I mean, listen, my husband and I are lucky. We're very lucky. We are financially stable. We don't really want for anything. We both have good jobs. I wouldn't say we're upper class by any means. We're definitely a good, solid middle, maybe on a good day, upper middle class if we're really, hanging in there. But those aren't the type of people I want to hang out with. So I'm just not quite sure what to make of it, to be honest. But the thing that I've been thinking about an awful lot is simply how angry so many Democrats are. And I look at Trump supporters, and many of them were not happy during the Obama years, but they weren't angry. So what is the difference? What is the difference between the two? What is the difference that allows the Trump supporter to kind of let things they don't like kind of wash off their back and they just don't think about it that much? And Democrats who really seem to just internalize everything, and every time someone does something that they don't want, they just get really, really angry. I almost wonder if there's something to it. So when I am assessing people's work styles, there is one specific work style that they do not like to be wrong. They're the perfectionist work style. Now, no one really likes to be wrong. No one likes that, but this work style really doesn't like to be wrong. This work style is the one that they don't raise. If they were in school, they would not raise their hand unless they knew for sure. They knew the answer. And I mean, I wonder if you know what it is? Oh, wow. Okay. You know what it is? Sorry, I'm literally just talking this through out loud. You know what it is actually, I have the book sitting right here. I have it sitting right here. Hope I don't knock over my pile of books. Happiness Advantage. Happiness Advantage is a book by Sean Aker, who is a positive psychologist out of Harvard. Lots of interesting information in this book, but one of the things he talks about in it, and I'm going to fudge the numbers spectacularly, but I want to say it's 50% of the people at Harvard are depressed. I wonder if I can even find it really quick, because I think it's actually in the rather beginning of the book, and I know I marked it. I know I did. Oh, here it is. In 2014, for instance, a Harvard Crimson poll in 2004, for instance, a Harvard Crimson poll found that as many as 4 in 5 Harvard students suffered from depression at least once during the school year, and nearly half of all students suffer from depression so debilitating they can't function. Students at Harvard. What do students at Harvard want for? I mean, today they want for classes actually in a classroom, I'm sure. But, what do those kids really need? Those kids have everything going for them. They are at Harvard. And so maybe it's you know what I think it is? You know why I think that Trump supporters are going to be much happier than Democrats in general is I think that Trump supporters are more in the present moment. I mean, being in the present moment, not stressing out about the past or worrying about what's going to happen in the future, being in that present moment and just enjoying where you are right now and enjoying the people around you. And if you're at Hampton Beach, enjoying the good weather and being outside and being able to get a couple rum cocktails and all these things, you know, enjoying that present moment where you are right now. That's really the thing that's going to make most people the happiest, because most people, when they're miserable, like many of the Democrats, they're usually doing one of two things. They're either thinking about something that happened in the past, like Donald Trump being elected, or they're worrying about something that they think is going to happen in the future, perhaps like Donald Trump's re-election. Who knows? But really, if you're thinking about what happened in the past, we can't go back and change the past. So you're in this constant state of frustration and anxiety over something that you literally have no control over. And if you're worrying about the future, well, the future hasn't happened yet. Why would you worry about something that you don't know whether or not it's going to happen? It's basically made up in your head. And the more you worry about it, the more you're likely to make it a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, one of the reasons that I really do believe that Donald Trump is going to be elected again in the fall is just the Democratic resistance to it. There's a phrase that I use an awful lot when I'm coaching clients. What resists persists. I'm going to say this one down, and you should write it down on a sticky note, put it on your computer monitor, or, you know, make a note somewhere where you'll remember it. What resists persists. That basically means that when you fight a problem aggressively, when you go after that problem aggressively, you almost always make it a bigger problem. It almost always becomes bigger. That's why I think the Democrats have been so stupid the past several years, where everything is about resisting Donald Trump. Everything is about this resist movement, resist marches, resist everything. They're creating a bigger problem than there would have been otherwise. I just don't understand it. But maybe that's part of what is actually going to get Donald Trump reelected, is these people are so miserable and they can't just be and be happy. And listen, if I'm an independent voter, and as it turns out I am, if I'm an independent voter, which group of people do I want to hang out with? Do I want to hang out with, like, the really fun people at Hampton Beach, or do I want to hang out with the bougie, elitist women in Portsmouth? I don't want to hang out with the people in Portsmouth. I felt anxiety the entire time I was there. I'm going to Hampton Beach, man. It's way more fun. So, I don't know. Those are just some insights that I had that I just wanted to talk about and maybe make a note of. And I promise I'll do another video today that's like of an actual news related topic. I've got a couple ideas for things I can do, but I really just wanted to share that, and to share that it was just, I think I knew that the Democrats were the party of the rich. It's something that other people have talked about. I'm not the first to notice this. Obviously, it's been being noticed since 2014, but it's something that it was just made really clear to me in the course of this experience. So that's all I've got. Listen, folks, if you like my content, if you want to support my work, please make sure you're subscribed, turn on those notifications, all that good stuff, and I will be back at you with another video very, very soon.